guys, Katie from Over It here. If you've been following us for a while, you've probably heard us say content. That is repurposing content so it can go further and reach multiple audiences. We think WordPress and Spotify/Anchor were on the same wavelength when they recently announced their tool that can magically transform your blog posts into audio podcasts. How it works is Anchor will convert the text to audio using either a male or female sounding voice. Full transparency, I haven't been able to find an example of this yet, so I can't say how human sounding these voices actually sound. Or you can choose to record your voice reading the text. Anchor then publishes and sends out your podcast across different channels, including, of course, the big ones, Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So bam! Suddenly I have a podcast? It seems convenient, but how practical and effective is this method? We turn to our studio manager and veteran podcast host and producer, Adam Claremont, whose response was basically, yeah, seems like a good idea in theory, but not so much in practice. As a medium, podcasts tend to be, but not always are, conversational and casual. This lends to authenticity and builds trust and loyalty with the listeners. It's hard to attain that from either a robotic voice or simply reading word for word from a blog post. The same goes for the inverse, that is, transcribing spoken word podcasts into text. Podcast transcripts and video captions are very helpful for deaf and hard of hearing individuals, but can feel clunky to read. Also, the technology is far from perfect. Even well-spoken speech will return errors in the transcript from the AI, meaning you still need to rely on a real human to review and edit the transcripts. If the podcast is conversational with multiple people talking and maybe even talking over each other, that makes it even more difficult. The medium we're creating content in does matter. That's why there's a difference between creating a 15-second social media ad, a 60-second broadcast commercial, or a 60-minute in-depth podcast episode. Video, audio, and written mediums all have different goals, purposes, and functions within your funnel. So while having written, audio, and video with captions, versions of your content is great for accessibility and search engine optimization, it's not necessarily a content strategy. I think it's odd that WordPress/Anchor is calling this practice a podcast, because like we talked about before, a podcast is usually a conversation between one person and the audience or two or more people. A blog post isn't necessarily a conversation. It kind of seems like WordPress is just trying to capitalize on the popularity of podcasts. So that's why I think it's important for clients to understand the difference between offering your blog post in audio format and creating an actual podcast. If you wanted to create a podcast on the same topic as a blog post that you already have written, you could use that post as a starting point and then have your host have a conversation around that topic. Now, if you happen to come across this video without reading the companion blog post, go check it out with the link in the description. You'll see the written version is slightly different. And tell me, which version did you enjoy more?